And we are back with our second week of our virtual STEM Summit. The next 4 days will be packed with today featuring SDLC partners. Tomorrow, the Director of Cardiac Surgery is joining us with AHN. Thursday brings us Philips Healthcare, and the final day of our STEM Summit is Friday with Rivers of Steel. So make sure that you join in each day. I'm Marie Poloni, the Director of Talent Attraction and STEM Development here at PTC. We are thrilled to have you join us today to explore SDLC partners, the world of RPA and business solution development. Joining us from SDLC is Paul Joseph. He's an intelligent automation service lead, and Mark Sparrow, who is their marketing coordinator. Today, we'll have students and educators joining us from over 193 different educational institutions. We want to take this time to say thank you to each and every educator and administrator, school staff for continuing to really fight for our students and families. We know that this is a really difficult time, and we applaud you for all of the work that you are doing, and especially for taking time to give the students this experience today. At the Pittsburgh Technology Council, we really work to connect the talented and curious students of our region to our members. More than 1,000 local technology businesses, manufacturing firms, life sciences, related organizations. These industries have really come together to help make our region a better place to live and work and to build amazing companies that together really are changing the world. These companies recognize all of the talent that all of you as students have and are excited that you really are the future of their companies. In other words, they want us to tell you all about some of the fun and exciting jobs that are available to all of you to pursue right here in Pittsburgh. So thanks to Pittsburgh Community Television, PCTV, this is not only being recorded, but also simultaneously broadcasted live. So each day of the STEM Summit will be available on demand on PCTV's website, along with our own. And today, and each day of the STEM Summit, we really want maximum participation from all of you. So if you look down at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see a hand, and you're going to see a Q&A. And if you have any questions, go ahead and type it in to the Q&A. I'll be able to see that. We'll do our best to get to your question. Everything is really secure, so no one will be able to see your name or your question except for us as the hosts. If you're joining us on PCTV, we're not going to be able to see your questions, only those live on the webinar. So don't think we're ignoring you. Throughout the talk today, my co-host, who is Mike Manning, a student just like all of you, is going to be asking questions both of the speakers, and he has some polling questions that he's going to ask you here shortly. When that time comes, a question will be put up on your screen for you to answer. So before we meet the team from SDLC, learn all about their roles and their work, I want to introduce you to our student co-host, Mike Manning. You should be able to see him Sue on the screen. They're going to be starting the show with a few questions before you get started. So go ahead, Mike, introduce yourself.
I'm a junior in high school.
And where do you go, Mike?
Peters Township High School in Pittsburgh.
Okay, so you're from south of the city. He has a first question for you here. You should all be able to see it on your screen.
What does RPA stand for? Righteous Productive Attitude, Robotic Process Automation, Random Phase Approximation, or Reusable Petroleum Absorbent?
All right, we'll give another second for you guys to answer. You'll be learning much more about this today, but I'll end the poll. Go ahead, Mike.
And most of you were right with robotic process automation.
Nice job. We do have a smart group here. You're still going to have way more to tell them though, Paul. Don't worry. All right, so here's the second one. Mike, go ahead.
What best describes robotic process automation? Software robotic based on artificial intelligence and used to eliminate tedious tasks. Physical robots performing tasks within manufacturing. robots with cognitive abilities and skill sets, or software created by a developer that does not require programming skills.
I want to make sure that teachers with big classrooms have a chance to get their students' votes in here. Wouldn't it be cool if the robots did have cognitive abilities and skill sets and they would take over the world? Physical robotics performing tasks within manufacturing. Software created by a developer that does not require programming skills, or software robotics based on artificial intelligence and used to eliminate tedious tasks. All right, Mike, I'm going to end and share.
And again, most of you guys were right with the first one.
Super cool. I mean, it's amazing what career eventually you will choose, and just already how much you know before you even start that. Aren't you impressed, Paul, with our students so far? All right. And last question. Go ahead, Mike.
What does RPA enable us to do? Check all that apply.
All right, mimic human behavior, log into any application, connect to system APIs, copy and paste data, move files and folders, process structured and unstructured content from documents, PDFs, emails, and forms, read and write to databases, even open emails and attachments, scrape data from the web, and make calculations. Looks like it's slowing down. I'll end the poll. Mike?
Yeah, they're actually all right. So whatever one you chose were correct.
Great job and thank you. We're going to stop sharing. And if you need to close out the poll, you can hit the little X in the upper hand corner. And I'm going to toss it over to Mike Sparrow and Paul Joseph. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Mary, and thanks, Mike. This is a privilege to be over here, and this is very exciting because, like, when I was reading all the answers, the poll answers, I was like, my goodness, I probably can't teach you much. You guys already know most of it. And first of all, being the son of a teacher family, and my sister is a teacher, I would like to really thank all teachers out there. Teachers are the best. Teachers are smarter than anyone else, because if the teachers did not teach them to be smarter, they wouldn't be smarter. So really, really thank you for that. I'm Paul Joseph. I'm the head of intelligent automation at SDLC Partners. Mike, do you want to introduce yourself, please?
Sure. My name's Michael Sparrow. I'm sorry I'm not on video, but I am the marketing coordinator here at SDLC Partners. And I help Paul get the information out of what he's trying to do and what he's trying to sell to the public.
He's basically modest. What he meant to say is, I just can't function without him, and that's the truth. So that being said, shall I go ahead and share my screen? And let's go through a quick PowerPoint. And whenever we say like PowerPoint, it tends to be boring. So I would try to, do less with the PowerPoint and more with my talking. All right, so we're gonna quickly go through some of the journey that I have taken personally with my career. And then we'll talk about SDLC Partners as the company, proud of Pittsburgh. We'll definitely talk about RPA, and I'm trying to rethink what I'm going to talk, because half of the things I wanted to talk, you guys know already. And what is a consultant, and how does a consulting life look like if you want to choose that career path? As well as, we all want to have fun. So how I have been having fun with work and how I've been trying to give back to the community and how everyone can do that. So that's our agenda. So that being said, so that's me. So this is me when I had a little more hair, maybe like 6 months back, I guess. And on the right side, what you see is a map, and there's like little pins out there, and those are the places where I have worked in my life. So that's the beauty about consulting. So like you basically get to see the world without spending your money, because company pay for that travel, company pay for that accommodation, and you could see things, quite a lot of world with it. And that's, if you ask me like, what is the number one thing that I love about my work? It was definitely that. And I lost kind of the count of how many cities I've been to for work. On the left side, there's a bunch of logos out there. Those are some of my credentials. So the thing about consultant is like pretty much every day you'll have to study because the technology changes, it evolves every day, and you have to keep up. And in order to keep up, you have to just continuously study. And as you continuously study, you end up in taking a lot of certifications, a lot of uh, degrees, and and part of that is to advertise, what you have achieved to the to your customers. And that's why I have a bunch of logos out there. On the right side, those are some amazing companies like SDLC partners that I work for. So I started my career as an associate lecturer in an engineering college after my engineering. And then I moved to Accenture Consulting. It's one of the biggest consulting firm in the world. Then some of you are really young to know probably Nokia. Nokia used to be the number one cell phone manufacturer out of Finland. So I did work for them too. It was a beautiful time. I did work for Bank of New York Mellon. You probably would have seen that building in the Grand Street in downtown Pittsburgh. I used to work for MD on Cognizant Technology Solutions. And SDLC Partners, this is my second time. So I was with the company in 2015, I guess, and then I left, and then I came back. So there has to be something magical about SDLC Partners for me to come back.
Paul, I have a question here. They're asking, Manny Valaga is asking, you even worked in India?
Yes, I did. So actually, I was born in India. Probably would have caught it up already with my accent, I guess. Yes, I did work in India as well. I did work in quite a lot of cities in India too. Cool, excellent. Moving on to SDLC Partners history. So we started in 2004, like a small startup in Pittsburgh. And from there, it was an amazing journey. So in 2009, you probably have heard about the big recession, right? Something similar to what we have right now. And even in that recession time period, SDLC Partners thrived. And there are some advantages for a consulting company to solve quite a lot of problems when there are a lot of problems, right? I mean, it's like problems are opportunities. So as a consultant, what you do every day is solve problems. So if you solve the problems pretty good, whenever there is a challenging time, you end up in making more growth because you have quite a lot of problems to solve. And then 2011, we moved to downtown Pittsburgh. So we started in Monroeville. And as you see the journey, in 2012, we were nominated for the EY Entrepreneur of the Year Award. 2015, we partnered with Highmark. You probably have seen the big building in the Liberty and Penn. And then we started a sister company related to cybersecurity called Lumina in 2017. Since then, I mean, 2017, around that time period, we started RPA, the Robotic Process Automation, as you all know already. And UiPath is one of the biggest vendor in that space. They're actually number one right now. In 2018, they were number three. But we identified, it's a strategic partnership with UiPath because they're growing awesome. So we had partnership with them. 2018, Tech Council awarded the Solution Provider of the Year to SDLC partners, thanks to Tech Council. 19, again, good year. We partnered with the second best RPA vendor called Blue Prism. And then, 2020, we launched the STEM for Kids program. So that's the journey of SDLC partners. And this talks about quite a lot of awards and recognition we have received, the partnerships again. So I'm going to just quickly glance through that. Now, what are we doing? What do we want to do, right? Like as a company, or any company, right? We want to focus on delighting the customer. Each one of us are a customer to someone, right? And when we go and do something, like when we go and rent a car, you are expecting the best customer experience possible. And customer experience, the best customer experience is not an option anymore. It's just something that we really, really, really have to do to even survive. So how can we provide a delighted customer experience? It's just like a tip of iceberg, right? In order to provide that, you got to do quite a lot of work under the radar. I mean, on the wall line. So it's like, you got to have a beautiful employee experience so that there are motivated, engaged employees, who will feel good to delight the customer. I mean, you can see that difference referring to different organizations. I'm not going to name them, but maybe I can name one, like Costco. Some of you have been to Costco. Costco employees or Starbucks employees are paid better, employees are treated better. So they tend to provide better customer experience. So those are, some of the attributes. So the number one theme on delighting a customer nowadays is excellent customer service, which is provided by the employees. And then the employees has to be motivated and their experience has to be amazing to provide that delight. So let's see how that's going to happen.
Paul, I do have one other question that came in. Someone was asking how many people are in your job?
In my job?
Yes, in your job. I would say maybe, how many people are working for us within RPA or intelligent automation?
Yeah, so SDLC Partners is about a 500 people organization, and about 50 people are, within the intelligent automation, RPA, process mining division. So it's like, it's actually a bunch of technology coming together. And it's a nice question for this slide as well, because this explains kind of like what all things SDLC do. If you look at, some of the attributes, right? Like human-centered design. I don't know how many of you have heard about it. It's nothing but, hey, each and every one of us is a human. And the technology is supposed to interact with the human, right? And that experience that technology provides to the human has to be humane. So the science that deals with, designing the right solutions for the customer or for the human to interact with the technology, that's human-centered design. So everything starts with that customer experience and employee experience we talked about. So that's kind of like the top layer. And then every other, technology or solutions that we provide kind of like support it. I have a toddler out there who's making a little bit noise out there. Sorry about that. It's norm for all of us now, right? So another aspect of it is like all these technology solutions that we provide has to be really, really secure. So that's where that say Lumina comes into place. And all the solution that we provide has to be measured, because anything that we cannot measure, we cannot improve, right? So the analytics help us to measure and improve the outcome that we provide. And it's all tied towards achieving a business strategy, right? Every company, whether they might want to increase the revenue or reduce the cost or improve the customer experience, there could be like multiple business strategy for every organization. And that's what the entire solution is going to focus on to achieve. So that's the narrative. All right, now let's talk about intelligent automation. So what is intelligent automation? Right? I mean, you guys have already put all the right answers there. So I'm going to just quickly go through it. So in my mind, or everybody's mind, intelligent automation is basically like sensors. I kind of relate it to something like, so you're trying to do a job, okay? Now, suppose you have your hands, right? You have your hands and you're like basically moving a bunch of balls from one basket to the other basket, okay? Now, you don't necessarily need a lot of brain for that. You just pick it up, put it in another one, pick it up, put it in another one. So that process is more like a manual, repetitive job. And you will be really bored if you are trying to do that forever, right? Instead of something like that, and if you relate that to computer, if you're picking a bunch of files from a folder and putting it to another folder, based on some rules, like for example, if the file name starts with A, you've got to put it in the folder A. If the file name starts with B, you've got to put it in the folder B. That kind of process can be done with RPA software. And that's what we call rule-based, right? Because that's the rule. If it's A, you've got to put it in A folder, right? Now, the second aspect is like from that robotic process automation to the next layer, which is more of like a robotic process reimagination. So you kind of apply some sort of a machine learning and artificial intelligence to that same process. For example, if that, in referring back to that original ball scenario, if the ball is yellow in color, you want to put it in one basket, whereas if it's red in color, put it in another basket. So at that time, your eyes are going to look at that ball and find out the color, and your brain process it, and then you put it here or there, right? So whenever you do that, there's a cognitive skill that we use, right? So that's eye. So in computer, how does that work? It's called computer vision, right? We all heard about OCR, character recognition, right? So if you refer it back to the file scenario, if the file has content of say invoices or content of people information or customer information, this OCR engine will read it and then it will sort it and put it. So that's more of like a, using machine learning and artificial intelligence to sort certain things. That's the basics of intelligent automation. So it's automating the processes, automating the jobs that are repeatably done by an employee with the help of robots. So what is the advantage of that? So the major advantage of that is, if I ask you, any one of you, to do these kind of file movements, 50 a day, you will be like, yeah, I can do it. But if I ask you to like 500 a day, you're like, oh my goodness, this is so boring. I don't want to do this job. I want to quit, right? And that's a big problem. Attrition for companies are a big problem because employees are not challenged, not satisfied to do their job. They quit and they move away. And organizations spend quite a lot of money in retraining new people to do that job again, and then they quit too. So the RPA provides a leverage. What is a leverage? You guys have seen this, right? Like, if you have like a large rock out there and you try to lift it, you cannot. But if you put like a leverage out there, and I'm sure you guys have learned this in physics, right? So RPA is like a leverage. It will enable people to do quite a lot of job with less amount of time. And I'll give you an example. What would be the example that would, so you all use phone, right? Whether it's AT&T, mobile, whatever it is, right? And you give them a call. Something is not working, your data is not working properly. You're giving them a call. And typically you give them a call and they're like, your call is very important to us, but please wait. And that wait goes forever, right? And once finally, you get a person after hitting too many buttons, too many numbers, and you get a person to talk to, and then that person is going to ask you all the details. Okay, who are you? What's your number? Why are you calling? And then you're saying, okay, this is my identity verification. This is my problem. My data usage is not working. And this executive probably have 10 different systems. Like, there will be one system for data, one system for billing, one system for call duration, call plans, etc. And this customer agent, as they are trying to talk to you and calm you down or help you or engage a conversation, they're trying to go to these different systems and fetch all the information so that they can solve your problem. And that experience is horrible for the employee as well as for the customer, because everybody is frustrated there. Now, how RPA can provide leverage there? Suppose when you call the IVR system that, the voice response system that lets you pick up your choices, if it can pass that number from your calling to the RPA, the board can, as you wait, the board can go to all these different systems and kind of like create a report that can be readily reviewed by the customer agent. And it can also do like, it can also probably look at your activity, like the basic things. Is your data working? Is your bill different from the previous 5 months bill? Is your call working? Did you log into AT&T or T-Mobile or Sprint, whatever that company is, their website, and did you specifically look for anything there? If you look for anything, probably the conversation is going to be about that. So you can do a lot of predictive analysis on those things, and then you can kind of like enable or provide the leverage to the agent to help you easily. And on top of it, the customer agent can do what they're supposed to do, which is delighting the customer rather than pulling up all this information. And when the robot is doing all those, data gathering on the side. So that's basically providing the leverage to the employees so that they can achieve quite a lot and bring quite a lot of results. So that's about RPA.
Paul, I have a question that came in, and this is a pretty good one, I think. And you're sort of touching on it a little bit right now, but have any of our bots replaced people or put them out of a job?
Excellent question. I love that question. So I kind of want to refer it to, the situation in New York. I don't remember, probably 100 years ago, what was the biggest problem Manhattan had? And the biggest problem was there were a lot of hose, cartridges out there that the city was full of hose shit. And it was a big problem because they were not able to get rid of it. Now, there were a lot of, cartridges where there were a lot of horse riders carrying people around. And there were, similarly in India, there was Kolkata, there was a lot of rickshaw drivers out there and when Thor came in, the biggest argument was like, oh my goodness, all these people are gonna lose job, and that's gonna be pretty bad. It's actually true that there would be some people who will not do that particular job, but there will be tons of other jobs popping up. So as the world evolves, everything evolves, right? It's not just the job. The way we ate, the way we drink, the way we watch, the way we communicate, the way we entertain ourselves, uh, everything changes during the course of the time. And that's how human evolved, right? And the exact same thing happened with the jobs as well. So if you are asking me, are people lose job? I would say whatever they were doing will change or transition into something else that would be more, revitalizing for them, more providing more freedom for them. Like, for example, the same thing, right? The customer care agent who were going nuts trying to pull up all the information is much happier now for not doing that job. He's doing something else. So that transition is important. And I referred it back in the beginning of my presentation as well. I started as a Java developer. Before that, I was an electronics engineer. Before that, I was a associate lecturer. We all have to evolve with the world. And Darwin's survival of fittest is pretty applicable in our world, even for a short time period as well. We have to evolve, and we have to learn, and we have to figure out how we can be productive and useful for the community, and hence getting paid. Any job that we do will give us quite a lot of satisfaction and money. Of course, we work for money too, as long as we love that job. And if we love that job, we will be really good at that job, and then that will pay us a lot. So that's my philosophy on those elements.
Good answer, Paul. I think, in summary, basically, what our bots do don't necessarily replace people. As Paul said, it frees them up to do the job they were initially hired to do. And it takes away some of those repetitive tasks that tend to slow us down. And I'll give you an example of some of the stuff that I do from the marketing aspect. I post a lot of the social media for SDLC partners and Silumina. Well, I do that generally once a week. I set time aside on a Friday and plan it for the next week. So I don't have to do that and go in every day. And an automated tool helps me to do that. I can load it in and set the times, and it takes care of everything.
Excellent, Mike. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we talked about a consultant, right? So I'm a consultant. And what am I doing? Everybody asks me, what am I doing? What is a consultant? How can I be a consultant? What should I have? So in my mind, the number one skill that we have, or that we should create for ourselves, is problem solutioning. So I told you, right, when I look at my career in my job, what I did yesterday is not what I'm doing today. Or what I did last year is not what I'm doing today. It's evolving. But the one thing that is static throughout my career is I am solving problems. Like, when my son, 7-year-old, asked me, like, what do you do? In order to give him a consistent answer, that's a consistent answer. I'm a problem solver. So the beauty is, like, from childhood, we can train ourselves to become a problem solver. Everything and anything that we see that is not working, that is not optimum, we should try to see how can we optimize it? How can we change it so that it works better? It makes our life easier. And that problem solution capability is going to be very handy, not only just in work, but also in our day-to-day lives. Quite a lot of things that we do, we would end up in like, solving with these different hacks that gives us so much more free time available to do something else that we love to. So that's the number one thing in my mind. And then, of course, active listening. Active listening, you guys are all listening to me right now, I assume. Active listening is an important aspect. Active listening is, as we hear, we are processing whatever we are hearing, and then we are actually like trying to comprehend and try to understand a little bit outside what we are just hearing. Like I'll give you an example. I was just taking time to make sure I have the time for the example. There was a old man who had a car, and he has a granddaughter, and he buys ice cream for her every day. So whenever he goes and buy ice cream from the store, whenever he buys vanilla ice cream, his car doesn't start. Whenever he buy any other ice cream, he come back and start the car, he's able to start. So he took the car to the dealership, the mechanic, and said, hey, this is my problem. And everybody over there is like laughing and making fun of this guy. But he's like, no, this is really true. This is how what my problem is. And finally, the chief mechanic said, okay, I will come with you. Show me this. So he went with this guy and then bought the vanilla ice cream and then came back, and the car doesn't start. The next day, went again, bought strawberry flavor or whatever other flavor is, and it starts. They couldn't figure out what's going on. So what was going on is, whenever they buy vanilla ice cream, since it's the most popular one, they have it ready, pre-packed, and they will give back the ice cream real quick. So the stop time to the switch on time, that gap was pretty small. So there was some condensation that prevents the car from starting. But any other ice cream, it takes some more time to pick up the ice cream. So all the problems, like the condensation is done. That was the problem. So basically what I'm trying to say is like, we got to listen what they are saying, but then we need to think outside what they are saying to relate it to our expertise, our knowledge. That's what a consultant should do. And of course, in the journey of a customer, a consultant, what we all try to achieve is to become a trusted advisor for our customers. So it's like, when I say trusted advisor, it's a really, really long journey. And sometimes it's a quick one too. Like, when I used to work for a bank, the second week, I was a consultant there, there was a huge issue. When I say a huge issue, there was like a big data outage, and almost 70% of the data that the bank was holding on a particular area, I cannot give the details, disappeared. And me and my team worked for like around 47 hours continuously and got everything back. Now, from the professional acquaintance all the way to the trusted advisor, that journey was fast tracked for me, because the problem that I faced was so big, and the effort you got to do is so big, that your journey to the trusted advisor is much faster too. There are other normal incidents when you try to solve problems for your customer. It's a small journey, one by one, earning their trust, earning their respect, and that's important in the journey, because you do not have any direct authority over any people you're working with at your customer location. You have to be influential with your knowledge, not with your position, to get things done. So that's the beauty of being consultant. And of course, so this is where I work. So people who have been to downtown Pittsburgh have seen the ice skating rink, the 1PP building, the glass building. So we are situated there. So this is how my view from office during the Christmas time. And this is the gingerbread house that's again in our building. I didn't do it last year. I don't know why. So that's again our office. And I have a secret that I'm going to tell. So July 4th fireworks, the best view we can get is from our office. I go to our office and you know, on the Fort Pitt conference room. So we have a conference room named after the tunnels and bridges. So like, you know, if you're in the conference room, which bridge you are seeing or which tunnel you are seeing from there, that's the name of that conference room. So if we are at the Fort Pitt conference room, this is the view we're going to see. Like, you know, we're going to see the beautiful fireworks right at your eyesight. And you know, if you really want to watch the pirate game, we can just go to the what is the other one? I think it's veterans. Not veterans. Help me here. Fort Duquesne, right?
Fort Duquesne, yeah, Fort Duquesne and the veterans.
Yeah. If you go to Fort Duquesne and have a little telescope there, you can watch the Pirates game for free. So we have a beautiful office, and let's have fun. I mean, when you work, make sure you work on something that you love, and then work is fun, so much fun. Let's enjoy it. And also make sure that we're giving back to the community. And what I mean by that is like, you know, I was part of something called Make a Difference, Higher Achievement, 412 Food Rescue. So these are like different organizations out there who are trying to help the community. And I'm also like a mentor in LinkedIn. So it's like, you know, and that's probably another good information I can share with you guys in the last 1 minute is LinkedIn is the #1 social networking site for professionals. And most of the people, like the very senior people, accomplished people, once they accomplish quite a lot, they all want to be a provider. So during the life of your, journey of your life, you know, when you are young, you want to be like a knowledge grabber. You want to, like, you know, 60, 70, 80% of the time, you want to grab knowledge from everyone. And then as you go up and as you know a lot of stuff, you want to be a provider too. So, you know, some of my mentors are like, you know, in their 50s and 60s. They're like 80%, 85% provider of knowledge. And then they still learn. They continue to learn. They learn from everyone too, the 15%. So that balancing act and of learning and giving is important throughout the life, I believe. So that's something I would urge everyone to do a lot as well. And Pittsburgh is a beautiful place. And I told you, like, all the different cities I've been in too. And Pittsburgh is my second favorite city. And of course, then the question comes, you know, what is my favorite city? So that's Helsinki. I have so many beautiful memories out there, except the cold weather, and I don't get to see sun for a week. So yeah, so if I, you know, before I close, the one thing I can tell is enjoy life, have fun, respect your teachers because they are the best, and you will know it more and more as you gracefully age more and more. I have more respect for my teachers than I used to be in my childhood. And be a problem solver. Thank you.
Paul, you are just fantastic. We are so lucky that we got to have you and Mike here today. Before I close us out, Mike Manning, our student co-host, do you have anything last that you want to ask?
I think I'm good.
Are you good to go? I mean, you covered so much information, Paul. I can't thank you enough. I mean, the 3 takeaways I really got from this were, for sure, when you said that we all have to evolve as the world evolves. I just thought that was really powerful. Definitely being a knowledge grabber. I think all of us can appreciate that. And you are so right. Just to soak it in and see what you're really passionate about, see what you love, see what you'll have fun at. So many takeaways from this. So I appreciate it, Paul. You are awesome. Thank you, Mike Sparrow, for joining us today. Thank you, SDLC, sharing us the incredible work that you do and just your wisdom. That was really cool. Thank you for all to our audience members for being such a great audience, to our awesome co-host, Mike Manning. Huge shout out to all of our sponsors. And SDLC was actually sponsored our Spring STEM Summit. All of these sponsors really make it possible for us to bring these opportunities to students and make them free and make them far reaching. So thank you to Phillips and Shell Games and Huntington Bank for making this all happen. We are going to be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we have the head of cardiac surgery. Is he going to be able to light a candle to you, Paul? But we'll be back with the head of cardiac surgery and AHN, Dr. Bailey. So join us back here tomorrow. Again, thank you, SDLC. Thank you for being here.
Thanks a lot. It's a privilege, and thanks for hosting this, Mary. It's excellent event. Thank you.